Hey everybody, my name's Bob, and been thinking for a while about making a YouTube channel because I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels on boats, sailboats. Watching Mads a lot on Sail Life, and watching Matt and Paige on Living with the Tide, and SV Delos and SV Vagabond, and on all of those. And I was thinking that there's probably a lot of guys like me who don't necessarily live on the coast, but would like to go do that. And so I'm in the process now, in the middle of right now, doing a refit on my Catalina 30. Her name is Windsong. Excuse me, Windsong. And I've owned her since 2008, I think it is. And when I first got her, she was in pretty good shape. And over the last few years, she's been kind of let go a little bit. And so I'm in the process of bringing her back up to snuff. Right now, the goal is to get her all prettied up in the inside and the outside, and take her to the west coast of the United States, and maybe do some sailing up and down there, and hopefully eventually get a bigger boat and do some more sailing with me and my smoking hot wife, Christine. And so right now, Windsong is in the Great Salt Lake. She spent the previous 2 years up on the hard because we just didn't have water in the Great Salt Lake, and right now she's stuck in the marina again for the same reason. And so I figured it was a good time to get serious and get this thing back to the West Coast where she originally was from. So I'm going to call my YouTube channel Going West, and that's basically a statement that I used to say all the time to people when I was kind of done dealing with people or society, and says I'm ready to go west. So that's where the name comes from, and because that's what we want to do with song at this point, is take her west. So right now I'm in the process of, well, let's tell you what I have done. And this is not going to be a real exciting video. It's probably going to be mostly me talking right now, and hopefully we'll get into more action later. But I've redone the keel bolts, in the process of rewiring the electrical in the whole thing. I'm in the process of redoing all of the wood on song, and probably redoing a lot of the canvas. Some of the things that she does need the rewire, electrical, both AC and DC. I need to check on what's going on with the water heater, because it's never worked never been hooked up as long as I've owned her. Putting in a new switch panel, double checking some batteries, and doing all that kind of stuff on the electrical. Of course, redoing all the wood on the inside, sanding some of it down and revarnishing it. Redone the stuffing box, and some of the things that also need to be done in the future are, I don't know, I've got a big, huge list, and I'm just slowly trying to peck at them. We need to go through the sails. Song could really use a new pair of sails. What I'm going to do on this channel is most of it's going to be pretty much on a shoestring budget. If I can get sponsors, I guess we'll look at that when and if that ever happens. But I do a lot of stuff using Sailrite, as far as sewing up stuff. Like I've made an anchor sail, I've made some winch covers, and I've made some covers for my teak handrails. I have one of their sewing machines. Love it. Tried changing my grandmother's over to a sewing machine for sails and that stuff, and broke it. So we went ahead and bought a Sailrite one. Also be using some stuff through Catalina Direct, and probably using some stuff from wherever I can get it. But right now the main thing is trying to do the wiring and the wood. Most of the wood that I'm working on right now is in my garage. And most of that, there'll be some stuff out here that I'm going to obviously have to do out here. We're going to need to go through the fresh water system, need to go through and do an oil change and change the fuel filters on the Yanmar diesel. It's got a Yanmar YSM 12 single cylinder diesel, which I like because I can start it like a Model A by hand. Right now it is coming up on the end of October here in Utah, and so I'm kind of switching gears from doing a whole lot outside to doing most of the stuff inside. To give you a quick tour of Song, and she's an absolute freaking mess right now. But one of the other things that I recently did last year is I put a 24-inch TV on there. It's got a DVD player on it. That's so when we come out, we can be a little more relaxed and that kind of stuff and watch TV. We also need to do the cushions. I think those are the original cushions right there. Would like to get a alcohol stove eventually. Could probably put some more insulation around the ice box. Right now, this is where I'm doing a lot of the woodwork in the aft quarter berth, which is where I've got a lot of the stuff off the sides and up along the top and stuff, and you can see some of the new wiring that I've done for the running lights in there. We do have a microwave there, but that one's not permanently hooked up, and you can see the holes for where the drawers go in the galley. They've got that whole piece in the garage. You can also see that I've got the top off of the nav station and the doors off the nav station because I'm redoing them, and I'm also planning on redoing the nav station altogether because would like to put 2 batteries in here. I've got an inverter in there and a battery charger, and would like to make all that look nice and clean all that up. I have a lot of tools and crap here. You can see I've got a kerosene heater here. I'm going to go through and probably redo my table. My son and a good friend of mine put this map of the Great Salt Lake on it, but it didn't take too well, so as much as I hate to take it off for sentimental reasons, I'm going to take it off to make it go a little better. I'm going to probably redo some stuff here in the hanging locker, just to probably put some shelves in and a little less hanging space, and then go through these drawers and stuff. I need to go through, like every other freaking Catalina 30 out there, Song has leaky windows. This is a big concern of mine because I would love to replace it with the brand new ones. The plexiglass ones don't have the finances to do that. So my other concern is that as I go in and rebuild them, I'm going to bend the frames, and that makes them not worth anything. So, but that's one of the things we're going to be working on all 8 windows. The V-berth up there, we'll go through a little more. I would like to put AC outlets, one up in the V-berth and one back in the galley. I do have 2 right now. I have one right there on the shelf right there, and then there's one on the opposite side over here. There are some other things that I'll be getting or wanting to do, like I'll be getting a tablet and putting some navigation software on it rather than getting some of the really expensive Garmin stuff, just because I can't really afford it, and like I said, I'm going to be doing this on a shoestring budget. Anybody who watches this and is interested, I am very interested in getting other ideas on how to save money and do things on here. I want the boat to be safe because it will be my wife Christine and probably my stepson Quinn and our friends and stuff that go out on this boat, and I by no means want anything to be dangerous. I also want to state that I'm no shipwright. I'm a computer geek by trade, and so a lot of the stuff that I learn is probably the same way you learned a lot of stuff, which is go on YouTube, figure out what I want to do, and what I think is the best way for what I've got, and go from there. So I am open to ideas. I've also going to kind of dedicate this to the Catalina 30 group because I couldn't find a channel that was just Catalina 30. So that's kind of introduction to going west, and hopefully we can keep things rolling here. And all I can say is happy sales, and we'll see you next time.